What's up guys, it's Drac, and I have a question for you. Do you know what the best Nerf Hyper Blaster is? The Rush 40, you say. Well, what if I asked you, what's the best knockoff Nerf blaster? Oh, you mean those sweet full auto stripes that are like 20 bucks on Amazon? What if I told you that it was a trick question, because the new answer to both is this? Yes sir, yes ma'am, and you heard it here first. That's not me using flowery language. This is the Just So Fun, nope, that's the brand, the Just So Fun Hyper Blaster. And if it looks a lot like the Rival Takedown, which is one of the better Rival Blasters from yesteryear, that's because it totally is one, right? Yeah, this cutesy gun logo on here where a single action army is the J in Just So Fun is the only marking on this Chinesium knockoff of the Rival Takedown. Now that's maybe not necessarily a fair comparison. After all, it's almost guaranteedly just being made in the same factory as the Takedown in off hours. Now fortunately, the shell and the ergonomics is where a lot of the similarities in. Inside, this has been completely retooled as a Hyper Blaster. It's got a hopper up top instead of an internal magazine, a funnel, and it holds, you know, an incalculable amount of hyper rounds. It's silly. They included 2 bags of hyper rounds with the model that I was sent, and it holds a lot. I haven't actually measured the overall capacity of it, but I think each one of these bags is 50 rounds, and it holds one of them comfortably with plenty of room for the majority of the other. I would say that it would, you could probably fit them both, actually. So let's just go ahead and say tentatively a 100 round capacity. The retention on this isn't that great. This obviously is doing nothing, but it kind of acts as a fun little thumb rest there. There is an actual working safety lock here, where that's unlocked, that's locked. You've got the same D-prime mechanism down here for clearing your jams, but in regards to feeding, you prime, it chambers a single hyper round. It loads into its barrel, which as you can see has been neck down from Rival to hyper, and then I literally put it on lock for some reason. It's a Hyper Blaster. Does it have slam fire? No. No, it does not. You could double feed in that way and get an actual shotgun blast, which isn't that bad considering the tininess of Hyper. Jinx is trying to get at the Hyper rounds already, which is still a concern that I have with these. But if you've adopted the Hyper ecosystem, this sweet sort of shotgun-styled pump-action Springer is cheap, high onboard ammo capacity, and all that leaves us left to test is performance. However, before we do that, it's time. It's time for a word from our sponsor. So my buddy Bobo's here, and he's actually already digging into our sponsored content. And while usually we go goofy with it, this one was just super easy. It's delicious cereal. It's better for you in a lot of ways than your traditional kind of sugar bomb cereal out there, which makes it really easy to talk about. So Bobo super duper likes the cocoa flavor. There's a peanut butter flavor, which I'm sure would be great for workout junkies, as well as a frosted flavor, which is pretty traditional. I like the fruity flavor, actually. I'm gonna go ahead and pour myself up a bowl into here. For those of you that are curious, and Bobo's teased me about this already.
There's no milk.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hardcore, man. I don't need milk with my cereal. I honestly don't really need the spoon since I don't use milk in my cereal, but then it feels silly doing a magic spoon ad with no spoon involved. But no, this is fine. This is fine. And now it's just turned into me eating. We can't do that. So we gotta hit the talking points, guys. The talking points for the ad are that they're actually on the box. Obviously, there's 0 grams of sugar. The net carbs are low, and each serving is 13 grams of protein, which is pretty serious. If you do have any workout goals, you should be consuming an amount of protein equivalent to the body weight that you're trying to reach. So why is it special to you, Bobo?
So I'm a type 1 diabetic, and cereal's really good, except cereal has a lot of carbs in it. So like 3/4 of a cup, 28, 34 carbs. That's a lot. This cocoa stuff right here, it's got, for 1 cup, 15 grams of carbs, which means as someone who enjoys eating a lot of cereal, and cereal that tastes nice and sugary like your childhood, I can have 2 cups of this for like the same as 3/4 of a cup of the other stuff, which is great.
So that's the bottom line, is that like, unironically, we really enjoy this stuff. We've been eating it at work.
Unironically, I was so excited to try this because I've been wanting to try it. So
yeah,
this is great.
He's stoked. And it's great. It's good for you. It's easy to eat. Bobo's probably gonna steal half of my supply here.
It's like an adult cereal of your favorite stuff. Not as sugary, still cocoa-y and delicious. not as heavy on the super fruity flavor, but still fruity and delicious.
Man, I wish we could do more ads like this. The bottom line is that you can use my coupon code ALAKAZAM to get $5 off of your first order of Magic Spoon cereal if you'd like some of that sweet, sweet cereal goodness. You literally could eat the entire box. Anyway, ALAKAZAM, coupon code, link down in the description box below. Thank you guys so much. Huge shout out to Magic Spoon. Well, I'm gonna need more cereal because I guess I gotta settle for my remaining bowl of fruity Magic Spoon. All right, so we're all fueled up on grams of protein from our Magic Spoon cereal, which is seriously pretty good stuff. You should check them out in the description box below. We're very flattered to get that sponsorship offer. And then we're out here with the Just So Fun Hyper Blaster. And this is sort of where the narrative starts to fall apart. That was a 70 FPS shot. Another 70 FPS shot. These things just go everywhere. I forget how incredibly frustrating this ammo is until I'm out here. So that's a duplicate 70. And that one was a failure to chamber, which again is an issue that's prevalent with the Hyper series. I mean, that's in all of the Hyper Blasters, given that they gravity feed and don't necessarily have a great kind of pathway. When the balls get gummed up on one another, you run into this issue. But there's an old coupe shot, and then we got a 71. So I think it's pretty safe to say consistently that we're firing much, much softer than your average Hyper Blaster, using the Just So Fun technology. Now, is that fixable? Almost assuredly. The barrel and chambering system seems to be pretty solid. It's the spring mechanism inside here that you would want to dial up to get higher performance. If you stare down the barrel there, you can see that there is a hop-up tab, so it's clearly capable of handling performances higher than that. But we've got our box out at about 25, 30 feet, and man, there we go. It's actually, you know, this is an opportunity for me to hop back up on my rant box, I suppose. I just did all the AccuRival content, and I was really dialed into my box, particularly at like the kind of basement battle sort of ranges that it's at right now with the AccuRival series. And there's nothing quite as humbling, I suppose, as I mean, this is, you know, ergonomically a really decent blaster design. Like, we really liked this when it was a rival blaster, and I think, unironically, the rival version of this knockoff is better, despite the fact that this is a better Hyper Blaster in terms of its consistency than a lot of the Hyper Blasters. Does that make sense? Like, it's just a good case study for the frustration that I feel like not only do enthusiasts, but in particular hobbyists feel when it comes down to like how much better Rival is than Hyper by virtually any metric that you could measure other than perhaps onboard ammo capacity. It's just kind of a shame that our rubber ball blaster here, despite having a lot of really good stuff going for it, doesn't have the juice, and then the ammo itself doesn't necessarily have the accuracy necessary to be quite the, that's one hit on target, by the way, out of, I guess, 15 shots, something like that. That one was close. A few of them are near misses, but it's not there we go. 2 out of 20 is not bad, right? Overall, I was excited to take a look at this one and review it for you because I thought it was an exciting opportunity to sort of revisit Hyper under the lens of a different company's take on it. And while in a lot of ways I feel like this is a better blaster than the Hyper line, it is definitely worse in terms of its overall performance. At least it'll be easy to modify given how it appears to be put together here and how accessible a lot of these internals are. I did take a screwdriver to it earlier, and I can tell you that they're using a higher quality screw than your average Hasbro construction, which is just a little hilarious in and of itself. But if you guys are interested, I'll crack this one open sometime on my Twitch, and we'll take a look at the guts and see if we can't dial the performance way up, because in doing so, between that and the very bland paint job, I think that you could really tune this up into something that's pretty sweet, pretty unique, pretty cool. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. But that more or less covers it. An interesting knockoff, an interesting Hyper Blaster, and an excellent example of both categories, which are normally very lackluster in general. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. Like, really helps out with making goofball content like this, and helps us get more awesome sponsorships from places like Magic Spoon. Thanks, guys. Much love. Blast on. Drac out.